Well, they've already threatened to gang up on me.
Real words from a frightened child. Meet Robbie, a Wabash Valley 13-year-old boy. Robbie faces his school every day, knowing he also faces cutting, hurtful words.
I feel different. I don't want to be different. I'm to the point where I just don't want to go to school anymore.
This is a very real fear for middle school children. For instance, we found out 35 out of the 105 bullying reports made at 27 Vigo County schools last year were substantiated. And that is a pretty common number in the Wabash Valley.
I've tried to reach out to an adult at my school, and I can trust the counselor, but she can only do so much.
We decided to talk to one school counselor. We asked what Robbie should do in this situation, and he said Robbie did the right thing by going to the nearest adult.
A lot of times the students, at this age level, they kind of live in a bubble, and so they don't know that there are adults around. But when we can tell them, go to an adult, and we can have them practice that and repeat it enough, then they start to look for those adults and those safe places that they can go to and get help.
But now Robbie is worried about the bigger picture if something doesn't change.
I'll be getting picked on and bullied, and it's just the little things that'll set me off. They'll push past the limit, and I'll just start cursing and saying stuff.
He's afraid someone will snap.
What I'm afraid is going to happen is I'm going to hurt somebody, or someone's going to eventually hurt me. I've gotten to the point where I just can't take it anymore.
And Robbie's advice to others feeling like he does:
stand up for yourself and contact an adult. And I just want to try to make a difference so no other people have to go through this.
In Terre Haute with photojournalist David Essex, Patsy Kelly, News 10. This translucent, delicate drifter looks like something you would see while vacationing in Florida. But these blooming beauties are in a backyard lake in Brazil, Indiana.
In the fall time, people will see these jellyfish in their ponds. And you're not crazy. Those are actually jellyfish. There are species of freshwater jellyfish, so they're not just in the ocean.
These mellow marine animals originally came from China, and then they were scattered throughout the globe by a multitude of reasons.
And they were introduced in North America maybe about a century ago. A lot of things get around on duck's feet. So it's possible that one part of the life cycle of these jellyfish forms a cyst, and they can stick to duck's feet and then be transferred to from pond to pond.
It's a strange phenomenon in the middle of a landlocked Hoosier state, but not as surprising as you would think. In some form or another, there's a good chance they're in many bodies of water in Indiana. These jellies have a complex life cycle, but how we see them now, this stage, is called the Medusa. While these jellyfish are now widespread, blooms like this are not.
Here will probably live maybe a couple of weeks. Seeing them in that Medusa form is not that common. So I would suspect that a lot of ponds and lakes around here actually do have these jellyfish living in them, but it's only once in a while, for reasons that aren't that well understood, that they'll suddenly appear in mass, in blooms.
Though only the size of a quarter, few marine creatures are as mysterious as these supple spectacles.
You can see them one year and then never again. Or you can go out to your pond year after year after year, and then all of a sudden there's thousands of jellyfish. Isn't that beautiful? How graceful? It's like a biologist's delight.
In Brazil, with photojournalist Cody Murphy, Patsy Kelly, News 10. Lucinda Farmer and Mary Quillen were roommates in an apartment building on North 14th Street in Terre Haute. Until one morning, their bodies were found in the alley behind it, gunshot wounds to the head. There was an exhaustive investigation, but it soon went cold. But over the course of the past 3 years, that changed.
It was this early Saturday morning we got the call that our sister had been murdered.
July 1980. These two women killed in the alley behind their apartment.
My brother Lloyd had to identify her only by a pinky ring.
Shortly after, the case went cold.
From April 2010 until October of 2013, Lieutenant Tompkins reviewed the original case file, the evidence, and re-interviewed witnesses.
Resulting in a person of interest, Harry Raleigh.
At the time of the incident, he and his then wife lived in the apartment building with the victims.
Based on court documents, here's what we pieced together from that day. During detectives' interview with Raleigh, he claimed he saw the victims leaning against his car. He says he then went into his apartment, got his gun, and shot both of them. Then Raleigh says he took his wife and fled to Indianapolis because he knew police would be looking for him.
Based on that information and their review, an arrest warrant was obtained on January 13th of this year for Harry Raleigh for 2 counts of murder.
Police say a lot of times in these cases, the focus stays on the accused, but it's about more than that.
They attended ISU together, became friends. As Mary's eyesight worsened, they became even closer friends. Both were sisters, daughters, and had families that cared about them very deeply. And those families have waited a long time for answers.
And I thought people forgot her. And thanks to Lieutenant Tompkins and his fine work, he solved it.
In the suspect's interview, he told police he was sorry for killing the 2 ladies and wanted to apologize to the families of the victims. In Terre Haute, Patsy Kelly, News 10. One dilapidated building, 8 stories, 111 apartments. This is turning into a $6 million project. This property, known as the Deming Center, is staged to be a key project for the Terre Haute Economic Revitalization area.
The exterior there'll be obviously rehabilitation on that, and you'll see certainly a difference in the appearance of the outside structure. There are already living units there, but these will be totally rehabilitated into modern, upscale, nice living facilities.
Even though the corporation in charge is getting a tax abatement, right now there's no tax money coming from that property because it's owned by the Terre Haute Housing Authority. The corporation heading up this revitalization is putting it back on the tax roll.
This specific facility has not been paying any real property tax for over 40 years, given the current owners.
Over the course of this tax abatement, around $500,000, over $500,000 worth of taxes that will be coming in that we wouldn't be seeing.
That increases our tax base, which means lower taxes for everyone. Plus,
with that type of facility and bringing those number of individuals into the downtown area, you're going to see increased activity downtown for the local merchants as well.
And the added bonus of seeing a city staple like the old Deming Hotel being restored to its former glory. In Terre Haute with photojournalist Gary Bryan, Patsy Kelly, News 10.